Sorry, so JT, what was that you were saying? What would happen to me if you didn't bleep me?
Our sweet Yugobnik here was complaining that I put the cricket sound effect in the last episode after he asked very kindly for FBI sound effects, and he was complaining that I never do the same to Hakeem. To which I responded that our boy Hakeem will be drone striked if I do not bleep the things he says. So please understand that I just don't want you guys to die. But Yugobnik, there's some unrest where you are too, right? Are you going to get drone striked soon?
Soon, Hakeem will not be the only person in this podcast that will use the I can get the drone strike card, I guess. Because there's some conflict brewing in my little corner of the world as well. Now, hopefully it's not going to lead to anything, and it's just idiot banana republics flexing at each other with very, very pathetic and usual rhetoric. But in case something does happen, I will have to buy like a very good like sound isolating microphone, because it would probably have to record while in the trenches, and I'm like, so yeah, what about Nancy Pelosi?
Oh
At
my
least,
God.
I would get new listeners immediately from all the other guys that are getting their limbs blown out of their fucking face. Right?
Yeah, exactly right. People in the trenches would be like, hey, what's the link? Give us the link. Will you have merch?
No, there was a very good Ukrainian like military ad where they were like showing people in the trenches, etc., fighting, and then afterwards they did like quick shots where they showed just how like people from all corners of life have volunteered to fight, etc., etc. So you have like a baker, you have a real estate agent, you have like a football player, you have a guy that works construction, But what I noticed, it said podcaster on absolutely none of them, because podcaster is plain and fucking 3 countries away at that point. We are probably no. Well, if I tell any like army recruiter that I'm a podcaster, they will definitely not recruit me, because that's like immediate loss of money for the uniform and the gun and the ammo they gave me, because I'm getting waxed. One of the first ones. Probably people in my own battalion will fucking push me out there because I can't stop talking about politics or like typical bro shit. I don't know.
Well, dear listener, with all that said, I am back from jury duty. That's why I was missing from the last episode. If you didn't notice, our resident Texan had to go and serve his country by going to stand in a line that wrapped around a building for about 4 hours. For those of you who are curious about jury duty and how it works in the States, you get a summons in the mail, and you basically are required to show up on the date that they request you to come by. Otherwise, they can give you a big old fine and threaten you with jail time. So it's better just to show up. So you get there to the courthouse, and you stand in a line with probably 100 to 600 other people, depending on the number of cases they're getting jurors for that day. In my case, it was like, I don't know, 4 to 500 probably. And it took forever just to get checked in. But once you get checked in, they put you in a big old room. They sit you down in a bunch of chairs. The judges for the respective cases come in, and they tell you about, what you're doing is so important to our democracy.
Blah, blah, yeah. Democracy's on the ballot.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Imagine how repetitive that must get. That guy, like, if he's like 50, he must have said that to people like at least 10,000 times, man.
Oh, yeah. When I was there, the judge made a point of saying, if there are any active duty military or police, please stand up so we can thank you for your service.
You did the thing. Oh, fucking lovely.
Were there any?
Were there any? There were probably 20 people in there that were cops or military. Big round of applause from everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It wasn't reluctant. It was active.
Like this is Texas, so you've got major like back the blue vibes. There were a couple people. I looked around. There were a couple people not clapping with me.
Why didn't you do a little troll and just stand up? Like, I remember in my university when we graduated, and like when they said all the people would summa cum laude, like 4.0 GPA, please stand up. This one drunk motherfucker doesn't give a fuck, he barely graduates and just stands up and starts waving at people, super proud. And the fucking nerds turn around, gonna fucking stab him in the head. They fucking worked their ass off for 4 years in order to be able to stand up. This motherfucker just stands up. You could have done the same with the cops, but you don't want to be associated with cops, so I understand that completely.
Yeah, exactly. But that's pretty much it. they say, all right, anybody who has any of these exemptions, please come up. And then probably, I don't know, 60 people come up to get excused from jury duty for anything from like, if you've got a kid under 3 who, if you are at jury duty or on the case, the kid would not have supervision, or if you're over 70 years old, little things like that. So a bunch of people got excused, and then they just called out numbers until they reached their quota of people, probably maybe, I don't know, 40 or so, and the rest of us got sent home after, half a day of sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
But,
what a lovely waste of an afternoon.
Exactly,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
That is jury duty in the United States. I was kind of hoping I would be selected if it was going to be a short one, like
sounds like fun,
trivial...
honestly. Kind of dark, but fun,
Right, yeah.
A person's whole life depends on you.
Exactly, yeah. It's you can do some cool stuff like we learned from our guest Lolo Overruled, our lawyer friend. You can pursue stuff like jury nullification to get someone off like a stupid, spurious claim, like possession of weed or something, and a black man's absolutely going to get a stiffer sentence than a white guy. So you can work to do a little bit of good, but for most people, most of the time, jury duty just ends up being a wasted day where we sit around and you get sent home. But there you go. Now you know. When you get summoned for jury duty, go. Don't get arrested, but don't expect it to be super exciting.
A question: if you shat yourself in the thing, would that be an excuse for you to go?
I imagine
I'd
imagine they'd want you out of the courtroom, but I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, if what's it called? Push comes to shove, and you really need to get out of it, and you don't have an excuse just to shit yourself.
I mean, that's a major roll of the dice, though. Like, what if they don't excuse you?
You just have to sit there.
Don't they force them to go piss and shit before a very hardcore case starts? Because imagine you're judging the serial killer that killed 12 little girls, and the lawyer is super serious and he's showing pictures of their arms and legs torn off, and there's little God. JT in the background raising his fucking hand.
I have to go to jury duty,
and the judge is like, what? And you interrupt this whole proceeding. The 12 mothers of the 12 girls are crying. They all look at you directly, and you're like, I am literally going to shit myself.
Gotta poop.
Oh my God. Oh God.
What a scene.
We're fucking 12 years old, I swear. I love it.
And because JT is not vulgar in that way, at least. He would not even say, I need to shit myself. He would say, I ate too many nuggets this morning, if you know what I mean.
It's like well, they're not nuggies. What are they? The chicken crisp. I ate too many crispy tenders.
Crispy tenders.
The Dr. Pepper is fighting the homophobic chicken down.
Honestly, that
and the laxatives you stuff down my throat aren't helping.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm pushing 30 years old now. The amount of chicken nuggies and Dr. Pepper I consume, it's gonna do a number on my tummy.
I just hearing you say tummy.
Howdy, everybody. It is episode 59 of the Deprogram. Your boy is back. It is Christmas time. It's the holiday season. Everybody's jolly, especially you, Gopnik. I can tell.
Ho, ho, ho. Give me all your hoes.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
Something, horse of sleigh. I don't remember. I don't know. Something about slavery? I don't know.
Horses go with sleigh.
One horse opens.
All the horses are goated.
No,
it's not even horses. Aren't they reindeer?
They're reindeer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
rain horse. Like Rain Man, but like a horse with hardcore autism.
Jesus Christ. We are in rare
rain horse. Rain horse. This horse could do math and play poker really well. Yeah, and speak English.
Speaking of reins, I'm grabbing the reins, bringing this back on track.
But the rain horse could never find it out without.
Oh my God.
Her brother, the rain donkey.
This is what you Patreon people are paying for.
This is what you all asked for. Thank you very much for your support. We love you. Please don't cancel you, Gopnik.
That's the most ableist fucking movie on planet Earth, and I'm making fun of it. You want to cancel me with that? Please do. I don't need you in my life. You're probably a rain horse anyway.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Fucking
If you hear Hakeem coughing up a lung, it's because he is sick. Also, Yugopnik is sick. Also, I am sick. We are all coming off of sicknesses, so that's why we're probably a little bit delirious, having a great time. Hopped
Somatic,
up on
by the way. He means physical illnesses. There are mental illnesses unaccounted for.
None of us are diagnosed. We probably should get checked out.
I'm afraid.
Sorry, go on, JT.
Moving on. All right, hey everybody, back on track. We are here today on this beautiful podcast. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Texas. I don't give a shit what it's like where y'all are. We are going to be talking about the year in review. We're going to talk about all the fun stuff that happened, some of the not fun stuff that happened, and at the end, I think we're going to give this year an official Deprogram rating out of 10. So stay tuned for that. But boys, what a year! What a year, 2022. A lot of things have happened. As one man said, everything happens so much, and I think that's correct. So where do we want to start?
So much more in a week.
Nerd, shut up.
This was the year of all time, guys.
And truly one of the years of all time.
It's
so
very
let's
pretty.
jump right in. Was
very
it
pretty? Not the way it looks like 2022, you know.
Oh, the actual
check
way
it out
the
on
year's
the calendar. Aesthetically, it's nice. It really amps up its score, I believe. 2023 is going to look like shit, you know.
What's annoying is that the like 2020s, they should be like, you know, space years, right? You have a different image. When you were like in 2008, you had a different image of 2022, right? Right. But now you're thinking about it, and you're like, yeah, this kind of sucks. Like we have, I don't know, like. We have Uber Eats. Like, I mean...
Yeah, did we get any of the cool future stuff that we thought we were going to get? Like, think back to when you were a kid. Is there anything that we have now? What?
One. VR porn.
AIDS won't kill you. Oh.
That was the futuristic.
Two very different answers there.
We did get it. Like VR porn, it's like good. It's like very good.
No,
so
fair enough. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
No,
you know, I've still never used a VR headset. Not once.
Ever. Like not even once.
Really?
Try it. It's interesting.
Well,
it looks like fun. I think it'd be cool. Like I love racing games, so I'd like to get into VR racing. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, never tried it.
I was gonna say my third world ass has fucking tried. I mean, it was in like a gaming cafe place, and you go and you pay by the half hour, and then you try it. And the only ones I liked were the ones where you go in the mountains and you can just kind of look over nature and shit. But all the zombie shooting ones and shit like that, I was just like, I don't understand the vibe. I was like, oh, what is this?
It's very fitting for Boomer Hakeem. I'm imagining you standing there, just arms at your sides, like standing completely still, just turning your head left to right. Wow.
Basically.
I have shot gun before. This is not how shoot gun feels like. What zombie? I am doctor. Zombie no exist. What the fuck? So unrealistic. Two like spit in the middle of the internet cafe.
You guys are scarily accurate.
What this? So heavy on head. But
okay.
No, it makes you like the cool thing about shooting in it is like for me is it first makes you feel like Rambo after you get used to it, and then. Rambo, but without the anti-communism, and then you get to like experience like childhood because you're how do you explain it? Because your fantasy level is not as intense, imagination is not as intense as it was before. Where you could literally imagine worlds right in front of your battlefields, because I was really into like playing war with my friends.
Yeah.
And then when you put on the headset, you literally feel like you're back in childhood. And then 10 minutes later, you feel like you want to puke because of the vertigo,
motion sickness.
You go full Hakeem. What this? We feel sick, and you take it off. Yeah, I guess.
All right. Well, let's. Why don't we start with some of the events that happened to us personally this year? Obviously, 2022 was the year of the Deprogram. It was. We started this in October of 2021, technically. But since I've jotted down a couple of statistics, since this date last year, we have accumulated 2.47 million downloads of the podcast. The subreddit has grown to almost 10,000 users, which puts it in the top 5% of all subreddits. The Discord has grown to over 1,200 members and has undertaken some really cool projects like the one Hakeem is spearheading, the translation of various socialist works. And the YouTube channel has grown to about 30,000 subscribers. So not a bad year, all things told, for the Deprogram.
We couldn't have done it without you guys, all the people who listen to us. Excuse me. Of course, everybody who supports us on Patreon, first and foremost. Absolutely, without their help, we wouldn't have even been able to put out a few episodes, let alone God knows how many now, 70 or something.
We didn't miss a single one, motherfucker. Not a single one.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah, fucking pat on the back. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That, and also, people don't realize that we try to, because we want to be up to date on all the stuff that we talk about, so we usually record and then put out the same week. Some weeks we have a buffer room of 1 or 2 episodes, but most weeks it's usually the episode that you're listening to on Friday was probably recorded 2 days prior, something like that. So it's very impressive that we haven't missed. And of course, the big thanks to the people on the server. A big thanks to the people on the subreddit who make great memes. Of course, everybody who follows us on Twitter and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. We love you all. I was gonna say indiscriminately. Does that make sense to love somebody indiscriminately?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about a big group of people, like we love them all without qualification, none more than others. Yeah, stuff like that. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like equally makes more sense. Very strange choice of words. We're very unhinged today. All right, nice.
Anyway,
take my indiscriminate love.
Gladly.
Sorry. Yeah.
Let's see. For me, 2023 was a year of contradictions, a year of ups and downs. We had Kelsey
violence
and I had
playing in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We had our baby, our little Miss Evie, very healthy baby girl. But also, all three of us, Kelsey, Evie, and I, ended up in the hospital at various points during the year, which has never happened to me before. I've never had to stay in the I've never even been to a hospital to get treated for anything. No concussions, no stitches, nothing. But this time I ended up in a hospital in Qatar on the way home from Zimbabwe for 3 or 4 days. That was not fun. And then poor Evie and Kelsey both had an infection shortly after Evie was born that they had to get treated for. So they were I think Evie was there for 2 days and Kelsey was there overnight. And then one dog also ended up in the dog hospital for eating swallowing a bird whole. So that was
wait, excuse me, what?
Yeah, he found a bird and he swallowed it whole somehow, and it did a number on his insides.
Was it the bird male? Because that would mean he swallowed a cock.
Oh my god! God damn!
Just like he's good at swallowing it whole, just like his owner.
Oh my god! I like the hesitation when you're saying that. I was gonna say, hold on, JT. Aren't dogs made for eating?
Yeah, right.
What?
They're made for chewing them slightly, though. That's the thing. He scarfed it down. There was a whole canary or something in his stomach. They had to, cut him open and
he's used to from watching his owner, take them all immediately, not even prepare them properly.
Good one, dude. Good one.
And he says you never get triggered. I found your soft spot, baby. And it's literally your gag reflex.
I am a wild. I can't go to the doctor and I had to get a strep throat swab because I was my throat was really bothering me, and they the second that thing touches my tongue or goes past my teeth, I start gagging. I have a terrible gag reflex. It's awful. We
would make horrible boyfriends, really shitty boyfriends.
Honestly, I would disappoint
I'm
people
the deep
so
throat
badly.
king, baby. You can't. No. I'm all right with it. But try tucking your thumbs next time.
Tucking my thumbs?
Yeah, take your thumbs and tuck them into your palm, and then close your thumbs over your palm.
Really?
What?
Okay.
Yeah, it works.
That's somebody's experience.
Try it
fucking glug 7,000 Hakim 5 million.
Do you know how many things I've had to do with people's throats? It's not. I need
Probably
to know these things.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Other people's throats and your throat. Okay.
Well, let's see. Moving on from the Gluck 3000 discourse. The last thing.
Throat goat.
The throat goat discourse. The Glizzy Gulper discourse. The last thing that's really noteworthy that happened this year is after 5 years of searching and trying to find a good specimen, I finally got my Volvo wagon project in the works.
Alhamdulillah.
It's going in next week to get to get the engine dropped in. Very, very
Finally.
exciting.
Nice.
Yes, finally. I've been waiting so long for this. Anyway, that's a bit about it for me. Year of ups and downs. What about you boys?
I was gonna say, sorry, before we continue, there is a I saw a picture. It was a shitty meme. I should have sent it to you guys. But in the northwest of the United States, there is a poo-poo valley, and then like around the Great Lakes, like Michigan area, there's a place called Pee-Pee Point.
Oh,
and then when you drive back up along the right along the eastern coast of Canada, you can go to Pee-Pee Island. So I suggested to break in your Volvo when you drive from Poo-Poo Valley to Pee-Pee Point and then to Pee-Pee.
Before we do that road trip, we need to decide what comes first, pee-pee or poo-poo, and can we do in the same time poo-poo time and pee-pee time, but not pee-pee time and poo-poo time.
Oh my God.
I think you have to start at poo-poo because otherwise you can't guarantee pee-pee, right? Am I right? Because you can't guarantee it the other way around. Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily make
With
it
pee-pee, you cannot guarantee poo-poo.
If you start, Jesus Christ, how old are we? Okay,
we're all sick, we're all tired. It's fine.
Yeah,
people get it.
This is the
this
end
is what
of the
people
year.
tune in for.
Yeah.
Jeez. By the way, after the episode me and Yugopnik made the other day, where it's like all fucking serious discourse, fuck that. We need to
de-stress.
But yeah, and this is de-stressing people who are seeing relatives that they might not want to see.
Yes,
so
you're welcome.
Exactly. This is the holiday episode.
Yeah. But yeah, JT, go on. You're speaking about your car.
No, that's about it. It's Volvo's ready to go in for surgery. I've decided to get it wrapped in a nice deep green. Gonna do light brown seats.
Like more military-ish or like neon?
No, not neon. Definitely not neon. So closer to military, but more like forest green than like what you associate with military, like olive green or something.
I approve. I allow it. I allow it. Okay, continue.
Thank you, Daddy. What else? That's all I've got. I want to hear about your years, boys. How was 22 for you?
I've been working a lot.
You're very tired?
My fucking life. Yes, I'm very tired. This year has been a year of exceptional fatigue. So I'd like to thank my parents. I'd like to thank I switched focus in my professional life, I guess. I don't know if anybody would even care about this, but I switched from family medicine to emergency medicine. And I did this because family medicine made me want to kill myself. So yeah, I was going in there every day, and I would stare outside the window and be like, there is a several floor fall down there, and I could probably kill myself. So right, I had access to all sorts of medications. I was like, if I were to inject myself in this office and I were to lock the door, it would be long enough that I would die and nobody would be able to do anything about it. I'm joking. Suicide isn't a funny thing, but I'm just making light of the situation. That I really, really, really didn't like my job. I was very unhappy there. So alhamdulillah, I switched, and now I'm in emergency medicine, which is arguably even more work, but I'm thankful for it. I enjoy it. I enjoy my coworkers. I enjoy my patients. If that sounds very strange to say, I enjoy my patients. I mean, the patients are kind of cool, is what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I really like how sick you are.
Exactly right. But so yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, not much else. I've just been a workhorse, really. And everything with the podcast, of course, which is this has definitely been a defining thing of my life so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, and my love for the boys grows ever more with every passing day, which is hard to believe because it's already unsurpassable, the amount that I love them. But anyway, sorry, go on, Nick. You can.
No, very true. Like for three guys that have never seen each other, we are kind of the proof that long distance relationships can work. We're proof that a flat hierarchy kind of organization can work. But the podcast for me has definitely been the defining moment of the whole year. I switched jobs from selling my soul to Yanks. Now I sell it to like Swiss/Singaporean, like cyber dudes or whatever. But that took some getting used to, but nothing even close to something that is stressful enough to overwhelm just the rewarding feeling of what I get from participating in this. At this point, I can't even call it little project of ours. Pretty, grown out of anything that we could have ever imagined. Getting more and more close, I guess, with my lovely partner. Her tolerating me recording all the time in the living room while she wants to rest after a long day at work. Visiting quite a few interesting places all over, mostly, I guess, Europe. Making a lot more friends, actually, also in real life than I ever did before. I don't know why. Usually after a few years post-university, you always only hang out with like university friends or whatever, at least in the sphere of studying with it I had. But this year really like fucking exploded that. People just were coming in from all over the place, introducing themselves. I had access to more people. So what I'm trying to say is an extremely social year. For me, a year that has passed incredibly fucking slowly, but in a very good way. I've enjoyed every single month, every single day. I'm grateful to the big man upstairs, grateful to the both of you, grateful to everybody in my life that tolerates my little I don't know what they call those little quirks, I guess. This sounds like a Reddit post, but not genuinely, especially to the two of you. Thank you for an incredible year. 2022 will forever, especially as a year that came after 2019, 2020, 21, will be a year to definitely remember, even in 2057, if I'm still alive back then. If somebody mentions 2022, you two's faces will immediately pop up in my small mind.
Oh, shucks. Very wholesome. Well, what a start to the episode. I hope you listeners have enjoyed us being very wholesome to each other. This was kind of unscripted, very casual. We just wanted to chat about what the year was for us. But now, let's actually do the year in review. Let's talk about some of the bigger things that happened in 2022 around the world. Starting, of course, with everybody's favorite topic, police brutality. So far, the police in the United States have killed 993 people. Which is on track to at least match last year. Which I believe
rookie numbers. There's no development. I think we should. I think according to market logic, we should defund the police because they're not increasing production.
Oh, oof. Absolutely savage. But yeah, it's a huge problem in the United States. Every year they kill at least 1,000 people, and it's you've got the cop stance. They're like, yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes you got to kill people as a cop. Your job's dangerous. You're like, okay, but their job's not to be judge, jury, executioner. Their thing, if you even support them at all, is to arrest the person who is causing trouble or whatever, and then hand them over to the justice system, which is broken as.
Didn't they do this already? Didn't they? Sorry, I was just going to say, didn't they already do the research on this and found out that the one way of escalating a situation is to actually call the police? Yep. With especially like domestic disturbances and shit like that. It's ridiculous.
The solvency rate for violent crimes is like under 30%, bro. Like the argument, sometimes you gotta, use violence and that ends up killing people, but at least, we're solving so many cases.
No, you're not.
Stupid argument from a socialist perspective, but let's imagine we're not even socialists. You're not solving any cases, so you're whacking motherfuckers for that are not guilty of anything, and you're not solving any of the cases, and you're getting more and more investment year in, year out. Literally what Hakeem said, like in the business world, this would be looked at as such a monumental fucking failure. They would scrap it for literal metal scraps. Like they would sell the guns for fucking aluminium, man. That is how just unproductive, at least the United States police force is in the way it's constructed right now, and in 2022 especially, man.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, you've got not only the direct killing of civilians by cops, but you've got their complete incompetence to actually handle situations where people say, oh, the cops are necessary. Like the number of school shootings that we've had. The one where the dude was like, you've got the footage of the dude on his phone looking at like Blue Lives Matter memes while children are screaming down the hallway. And the video is subtitled, "The sound of children screaming has been removed." You're like, good God. Like, come on. How sick is this country for that? But anyway.
Somebody wrote that. It's fucking incredible, man. That can only happen in the United States. That type of American exceptionalism I can absolutely get behind, man.
The only thing that was missing is a typo.
Keeping in the lovely charming topic of gun violence, we have had 622 mass shootings this year in the United States, which puts us on track for number 2, I believe, in recent years. I think last year was the highest ever. So there's not a single week in 2022 without a mass shooting. So yet another feather in the cap of the United States. We can't go a single week without some person opening fire on their fellow Americans. So we've got some problems. We got a few problems here in the United States, and that's one of the bigger ones. But I just wanted to get those out of the way up front, sandwiched between wholesome things. So that's your roundup of gun violence.
I was gonna say there's a few other things that are I guess I can just put in one interesting bit of information that I didn't know actually until I want to see. It's like what actually happened in 2022. I don't remember. It feels like 20 years have passed.
Yeah, right.
Like Lennon's saying, but nothing of value has actually been achieved. But yeah, apparently something that's very neat is that there's the first successful heart transplant from a genetically engineered pig heart to a human patient.
That's awful. They took a cop heart and they put it in a human.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for 2 hours to make that fucking joke. I swear to God. When I saw it on the list, I was like, ha ha ha, cop joke. Oh, sorry, please continue.
Hey, at least they have one use.
Yeah.
Right? Fuck them.
You lost. You could have said no because cop pigs don't have hearts. So it's from an actual
I mean, that
pig.
works too. But yeah, so that was a very neat little development.
Would that be haram though? Would that be haram?
No.
It's a pig heart.
Not for medical purpose. Not for medical purposes. Plus, you're not.
Come on, that was not a serious question. I love how you seriously answered it.
So, Dr. Hakeem, how medically significant is this? Will that make it a lot easier for people to get heart transplants?
That's the hope, I would say, because it's one of the most difficult organs to get a hold of for transplants are hearts. I mean, it's not the most difficult, I don't think, but it is up there. And for sure, this is, I guess, a very nice first step towards basically, because cardiovascular disease, and particularly heart failure and end-stage heart failure, to be specific, is one of the biggest killers of quote-unquote civilized quote-unquote existence, so like industrialized countries. And this will be increasingly a bigger issue in the imperial periphery as well. So the sooner we get to a situation in which we can solve it or decrease the burden, the better. And it's kind of like in a general trend of medicine overall, we'll have more and more quote-unquote replacement parts for people, which honestly is the hope, because there's a lot of things you can do with prevention, but there are some people with genetic disorders, for example, that no matter how much prevention you push on them, their heart will still give out. And in these cases, then this is a huge lifesaver. So it's a pretty big deal, but it's the very first one. You got to remember the first heart transplant was carried out in like 1954 or something.
Oh, wow.
And just in the past like 25 years, 30 years, has it become a relatively secure field. It had been prior as well, but right now it's actually a secure field. So the real benefits of this we're probably not going to see for a few decades. But it's neat to see. It's neat to know that this is something that happened this year.
And it's super impressive. It's super impressive. Yes, of course, when we talk about the surgeons, the doctors that did the procedure, etc., but especially, in my opinion, for the patient who is literally putting his heart on the line, his life on the line to try something that has never been successfully done before. Understand this is only out of the pursuit of ethics, done with patients that are literally possibly about to die, and 100% they're not going to find a human heart as replacement, etc. But these are the type of sacrifices that genuinely push civilization forward, and without which arguably nothing would be possible. So the unsung heroes whose name we'll probably never even hear, and yet they probably will end up saving one of our future generation, great grandchild from whatever disease they participated either in solving, from the perspective of the medical personnel or from the perspective of the person who's, for the lack of a better word, being experimented on. So very cool shit.
Yugopnik, give us a 2022 event.
There was like a small thing, like, nobody kind of talked about it, so I really want to mention it. A little thing called the officiation of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict of 2022. Started in February, has been lasting up until now. It's a very decent movie series with a lot of plot twists that nobody saw coming, from both sides. We had a lot of staging of videos. We had a lot of very genuine, real brutality. We had the explosion of theaters, of whole bridges. We had an intense debate in arguably every corner of the ideological spectrum on who one should root for or not root for. We saw arguably the most successful media and PR campaign to have ever been executed, in my opinion, in history, when it comes to garnering support for the Ukrainian nation in its war against the Russian military. We've seen the capability of the military-industrial complex, quite literally, to invest all of its efforts, money, and resources into a conflict that they consider not losable, or at least not to be allowed to ever be lost. We are seeing a conflict that Europeans tend to make out to be the first big conflict, at least how they define it, since World War II, which is absolutely not the case. But they definitely a conflict that, as I would argue, introduced a lot more fronts that are being fought on that most wars before, I guess, because of the lack of development of the internet, the lack of care, because it was, brown people dying, and the lack of, I guess, hardcore experts both in the U.S. propaganda machine, the Russian propaganda machine, the Chinese propaganda machine, the European Union propaganda machine, a lack of experts who know how to push a particular rhetoric and a particular outlook towards something. The war has really shown us that everything is ideology, sniff, sniff. But to an extent that I never thought I was going to see happen to me live right in front of my eyes. It is a rare moment when you can genuinely notice a step of no return where this approach to garnering support for a particular conflict will, I'm talking from that perspective because that's the most interesting aspect to me, will never go away. And because they have understood that it's not only because you need to garner the support of most of the world's nations, most civilians, etc., but that it can also very much so lead to very material consequences for the war, which in the case of Ukraine is literally getting guns and getting money, etc., etc. If the local population of a certain country really wants to support sending guns to another country, the government will follow and listen, sometimes even when it doesn't particularly want to do it, which we, as an example, I could use, Germany, France, to an extent even the UK, being kind of pushed by its own population, but also garnering their own personal state interests. So yeah, arguably the biggest event of the year, an event that is still lasting, an event that will probably, I don't know, I'm not a military expert, but probably on the wrap-up of 2023 we'll be talking about. But it is definitely a maybe not world-changing event, because Europeans tend to forget that wars are being fought all over the place all the time, but and this is just yet another war, but most definitely an event that will change the way war is fought, at least when it comes to non-nuclear conventional conflicts.
Beautifully put. If I'm allowed, I'll like to stick in something else that is arguably far less poetic than the beautiful speech that Yugopnik just gave us, which is the fact that our good old Lizzie, reliable old Lizzie, fucking colonizer Lizzie, she fucking dead, boy, she fucking dead.
Which one? Because two Lizzies
yeah.
fucking bit the dust. One more literally and one not so literally. You're talking about the OG one, the OG Lizzie, the crown-wearing Lizzie.
Yeah. Yes, exactly right. The one who would basically be sitting there every Olympics game and being like, "Look at all these countries I used to own." Basically, yes, that Lizzie. The one who gave a speech in which she basically said that everybody will have to tighten their belt and try to get by with a little bit less, as she was sitting on a golden throne with fucking gem encrusted like diamond fucking crown. Yes, that Lizzie. She died a pitiful death. Rip Bozo. No F's in the chat. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, and I remember, I think it was Yugopnik who said this, but the person I feel worst for out of all this, and I say this joking, I don't actually feel bad for him, but just for the memes, is her son, who's now the king. Because can you imagine being that guy who basically had to just he lived his entire fucking life without any real responsibility, right? With the entire fucking tax funding of the state behind him. He could do whatever the fuck. He could take as many trips to the Epstein Island as he wanted to.
He could whack as many of his wives as he wanted. Did it once.
Exactly right. Yeah. Oh my god. And then afterwards, he ends up having to be king and actually, carry out some of his nonsense duties, which are, I don't know, do they even fucking do anything?
They sign papers and stuff. Yeah, no, how old is he? What's his name?
He's 72 or 74, something like that. He's not like that old.
Okay. But average U.S. president.
Something. Yeah. Basically, that's young for a U.S. president nowadays.
Yeah, it's a fucking child.
Oh my god. Have you seen the Joe Biden clip where he yells soda?
I love that clip. Obama, soda.
Do not come.
No, but there were when it comes to the Queen dying and shit, and even back when Biden came into power, it was always very funny because he, plays on being Irish all the time, and the second she died, everybody was fucking around. Now so many American presidents, and nobody could whack that British motherfucker. Here comes Biden's secretly IRA
Irish
Biden,
Joe.
Irish Joe, fucking whacking that motherfucker.
Man, what a shame. What a shame. Imagine if he truly were IRA. Oh my god, the world we'd live in. Anyways, so Lizzie's dead. There's no analysis here. There's no commentary. This is just gloating over the fact that Lizzie died and fuck her. Basically just that, yeah. We can briefly mention the other European deaths before we quickly shift focus to the rest of the world. One of them didn't lie. The other Liz, brought down the UK government, basically brought down the UK economy.
Comrade Liz, bro.
Right.
Chad Liz,
exactly,
not soy boy monarchist Liz. Chad internal sabotage Liz, man. She was always one of ours. I could fucking see it in her eyes, man. That crazy only exists in socialism.
Exactly right. Yeah. But again, no commentary there. Just for the joke. She did a great job and then dipped after 2 months, which honestly is what I would love to do. That's a vibe. And then finally,
3 governments in a year.
Final...
Incredible. Sorry.
Exactly right. Yeah. And now finally, the greatest death. I dare say the best death of the century is Gorbachev. That fucking piece of shit has finally bit the dust. He's finally fucking rotting in hell with his buddies fucking Reagan and what's the other cunt? What's his name? Bush
Nixon.
Senior. All right. And yeah, all these fucks. Fuck him. Fuck everything he did. His birth was fucking cursed. His life was cursed. His death is cursed. Everybody spit on the ground right now for to disgrace the memory of Gorbachev. All right. So that's
I have a feeling that you don't like this guy.
Yeah. You know what? Like, it's a nuanced take, but if I could disembowel him and feast on his entrails, I would.
Well, there you go, listeners. Thus ends the Hakeem celebrating the deaths of various Europeans hour.
Anglo's out. Literally, Anglo's out. Oh fuck.
Oh, but Russians are now no longer European. That is the Asiatic horde.
Damn.
Rip.
I think
rip minority.
Isn't
Gorbachev real POC hours.
Isn't Gorbachev an honorary Aryan at this point, though?
Yeah, he did more for Germany than anybody. He did more than fucking Hitler,
exactly. Bro.
Oh, God. Reunited the Krauts single-handedly. You should build him a fucking statue. Speaking of things dying, Elon Musk single-handedly murdered all of Twitter. Genuinely, like everybody has talked about this and his mother, so we're not going to engage in too much commentary over here. But it is nice to see that most people that have taken the blue pill the hardest have slowly started realizing that Maskuru and Zuckerberguru and all of those motherfuckers are as basic as you and me. They have just been given a disproportionate amount of power, which allow them to market themselves as ridiculous geniuses. Twitter, no matter how much we make fun of it, and we should, no matter how much we call it like an absolute literal hellhole, because it literally is, one needs to mention that, unfortunately, for a lot of disadvantaged people, for a lot of people whose voices are not allowed in the mainstream, be it in the West or the East, Twitter has been a solution to kind of speak up against one type or the other of oppression, and this particular platform dying out could very severely hurt those same groups. So while it is absolutely welcome to make fun of the downfall of this entire platform, or at least not the downfall, because, let's be honest, it's not going to completely die, but more like conversion into an even hotter, but not in a good way, piece of hell. It's not something that necessarily should be celebrated. But is it worth Elon Musk incredibly embarrassing himself? Arguably, yes. Does he himself understand that he's being embarrassed? No, not at all. The hordes of fanboys will never allow this, but at least it will always be recorded in the algorithm for all time, every single Elon Musk simp, so that when the revolution comes, obviously we are going to be much nicer than the previous revolutionaries. The death penalty will not exist, except for the large, massive databases of two groups of people who go on cruises and people who support Elon Musk. That those get the bullets, okay?
Yes, that is our official party line.
Yes,
but
pedophile, 200 years in jail, hard labor, likes Elon Musk, bullet in the head.
Can I just say how much I've enjoyed Elon Musk realizing that nobody likes him in real life? Like, he's got all these weird
10% booze.
10%. Yeah, it was 90% cheers, and there was a fight in the audience that broke out before I started talking, and God, he's such a loser. Oh my God, we're talking for anyone who doesn't know somehow. Elon Musk went up on stage at a Dave Chappelle show. And he got booed into oblivion, and he was shocked. Like, he genuinely looked hurt, and that makes me so happy. Oh my God, I've never been so happy in my life.
That's a Dave Chappelle audience, like, the demographic of people who like Elon Musk and who are like big hardcore modern Chappelle fans are pretty close diagrams. They overlap a lot. So that happening to him there, yes, probably very embarrassing. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's all I had. I just wanted to revel in that for a moment. It's really nice to see that people are treating him like the goon he is, and that he's starting to realize that, which is, of course, reinforcing his shift to outright conservative rhetoric and the woke mind virus stuff. So we'll see how long before he's does an interview with Jordan Peterson. I give it like 3 months.
Yeah. In other, like, celebrity whatever news, I'll quickly run through them. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Will Smith slapped the shit out of a guy on public television. To Americans, that was very weird, because I guess you guys, for a country that does them arguably the most, now you have some competitors, but arguably does the most violence internationally, you're really scared of seeing it back home. A man slapping another guy is, I don't know, common to where I'm from, so it's a bit of culture shock there, but I live to learn. So lovely. We saw the live stream broadcast of literally the most televised court case, maybe after the Nuremberg trials in history, which is Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. I don't even care about these people. Just worth mentioning because it was a big event, and it's one of those like locked memory events. I think for like 95% of people, and the Will Smith slapping the dude, because like you most definitely forgot this, so I unlocked the memory right now. And obviously we talked in plenty of episodes about we mentioned it at least about the biggest kind of celebrity moment, and that is the guy that everybody, if he, what did Bill Burr say like 2 years ago? He said, man, if Kanye West wasn't black and he was talking that particular way, the same way that he talks about, he would sound a lot like the guy who said, oh, I cannot paint, but I can take over the countries, from 1939. And he ended up being literally the guy from 1939. Surprise. But yeah, in celebrity news that you should care about, but not really, that kind of covers the whole thing.
I didn't care about any of that. Well, the Kanye stuff is significant, but like I still don't know what the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial was about. I don't think I ever actually saw the slap. Like I saw the picture of the aftermath of the slap, but I never saw the video. So I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm a boomer. I don't care. Also, the only thing I took from the Johnny Depp thing is that he looks like shit. He looks like pond scum now. Like he was a suave, kind of cool guy back in like Pirates of the Caribbean days.
It's called getting old.
Looks like a toad now.
It's called getting old. Yeah. Gonna happen to you, baby.
Probably all the drugs.
I don't think JT's luscious locks. I don't think that's a possibility.
No. I'm gonna look like this forever.
Yeah, exactly right.
Never gonna go bald at all.
Let's see what else is happening. The heat waves. Let's have a little moment to discuss the fact that the UN Climate Commission basically came out and said if we do not stop by 2025, which need I remind you is like 2.5 years away from now, or like 3 years away from now, basically. They're like, we're fucked. Yeah, it's not that. That's a bit exaggerated. But what they said basically is that that's the only way we're going to be able to guarantee the 1.5 degrees Celsius scenario, which is the best case scenario we have, and it's still horrific. So that's fun. It's fun to know that the American military and giant like international conglomerates can get away with increasing profits. Meanwhile, they're literally ruining the fucking earth that they're extracting profit from, including the people that live on it. It's a very logical system that we live in, don't we?
10 out of 10.
A TLDR of this is that we... Yeah, exactly right. We live in a society. That's what we need to know. But I would like to comment on. The one example to kind of encapsulate. Across the entire world this year, there have been huge heat waves, and it's the usual. Like every year, it's like, the highest ever temperature recorded in this particular country. The longest it's gone without rain. Drought conditions, like this sort of shit, right? And on the inverse, it's the coldest ever temperature and really bad snowstorms and really bad hurricanes and etc. etc. Just way more unstable weather and its effects on the environment around us. But the heat waves specifically have resulted in an excess of over 50,000 deaths in Europe alone.
Wow.
So just think about that for a bit and just realize that happened because people were warm. Imagine when the floods come.
Yeah.
So I saw a picture the other day where it was, I don't remember the name of the fucking actor, but they basically drew a beard and long hair on him so he looks like Jesus, and he's smoking like a blunt, basically, astaghfirullah. And it says flood it. It's just like big cap says flood it. And I don't know, it just made me laugh.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that's a big deal. It's hot as fucking shit everywhere, and that's very, very scary. Not for the people living in it particularly. The subsequent effects on the environment, particularly agriculture, are the more nefarious things. So yeah, we have very, very interesting years ahead of us. So let's hope that we continue to exist as a species.
The interesting thing about the climate reports now is that even these, typically pretty politically not conservative in like the conservative liberal sense, but the language they use tends to hedge a little bit. But now they're saying things outright, like if we do not change the current economic system, like they're coming right up to the edge of saying this is because of capitalism. So it's I think hopefully we're going to start to see some people start to catch on, start to connect those dots who haven't maybe connected it before, because there are a lot of people who fancy themselves climate activists, a lot of young people who are engaged in this sort of thing. And if they start to connect those dots, then we're going to see a lot of, I think, growth in revolutionary potential in all parts of the world that are going to be affected by this increasing climate change fallout.
Well put. Yeah. It's unavoidable. Like if you go down the rabbit hole of what is causing global climate disaster, you eventually will have to reach the conclusion that it is a systemic issue. At least if you were actually looking for the problem and not just LARPing at being a activist. Even arguably the most mainstream of activists on the planet has slowly lost any, I guess, relevancy because she started talking about the necessity for a systematic change. But back when she wasn't talking about it, because she was obviously very young, everybody was posting her everywhere, even like fucking CEOs. I'm talking about Greta here. She came out with a new book like a month ago, and she openly went out and said, okay, this is definitely a systematic issue. And almost nobody except, I don't know, communist spaces like voiced or like amped up the conversation on what she had just said. But no matter how much people ignore, like even the most mainstream of activists slowly turning redder and redder, at one point it will become inevitable that it becomes the most mainstream part of the conversation on climate change. But that all sounds like it's very optimistic, etc., which it should be. But unfortunately, we have a very, as Hakeem said, like a ticking time bomb when it comes to this particular problem of climate change. So we cannot really rely on the fact that class consciousness inevitably spreads because we are limited by the planet quite literally dying in front of our very own eyes. Arguably, without the problem of climate change, one could make the argument, now I'm moving into a kind of a different topic, but I'll just mention it since we're on this one. One could argue that, communism is inevitable, the eventual evolution from one system into another, the continuation of then new form of class conflict, history's class conflict, blah, 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 blah. But because of the environmental disaster that is happening around us, there is a time limit on the what we call the experiment of human civilization, and that's what's fucking us. And it's arguably the biggest, in parallel, one of the biggest friends that we can have as socialist agitators, because we can say, dude, we need to change the system, otherwise everything is burning down. But it's also a big enemy because everything is burning down and we don't have time, to properly organize, etc., etc. So 2022, at least, it's getting more into the mainstream. Hopefully next year, when we're sitting down and talking about this, it's going to be a topic that is even brought up in the most typical, G7 type of fucking events.
I was gonna say, just to switch gears also, just so we can get the political side out of us, because people will call and be like, oh, you're not talking about the rest of the world. This is like meant to be just a quick kind of recap of the world, because otherwise we're gonna be here for like 6 hours. But there are a few things I want to recap, and it's that there have been a fuck ton, as is with every year, there has been a fuck ton of quote unquote democratic transitions, whatever you want to call them, amongst with also coups and oustings and whatnot in Burkina Faso. That has been one. One literally happened like 2 weeks ago in Peru, or 2 weeks ago, like 5 days ago at this point probably, in Peru, Sudan at the beginning of the year, and then Pakistan as well, which was a huge thing. So these are the less legitimate, let's say, and then we can get on to the more respectable legitimate ones, which are equally legitimate. I think we'd all agree. Hungary has chosen a new leader as well, and some lady who was a lawyer, and she's one of the youngest people to ever blah blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Just like the guy in Burkina Faso is one of the youngest people ever blah blah blah. In Chile as well, you have our resident Balkan, resident Balkanoid. Did I hear you right, or did it clip out? Did you say ooh?
I said woo. About ooh, yeah.
I thought you did the fucking
simping.
But yeah, no, I'm talking about Boric or Boric. It's Boric, right?
Boric,
Boric,
yeah.
Yeah, Boric, yeah.
But Boric, because the fucking Catholics can't talk.
Look, I'm gonna call him Burek, okay, because that's what I had for lunch today. But
honorary title.
Exactly. And he's also one of the youngest heads of state, blah blah. So I'm just trying to say, like half the world has elected almost quote unquote youngest, almost all elected youngest people to ever blah, blah. Meanwhile, the United States is like, you know what, that's all cool, but you know who we're gonna go with? We're gonna go with a guy who's who's knee deep in the grave. All right. This is, of course, not mentioning enough the many sham elections that happen around the world. The election in Turkmenistan, in which he won like 90-something% of the vote, amongst other countries. It's less than relevant at this point. But just know that the political processes of the world are ongoing. Just because the pandemic and the war and everything else doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that all this stuff has stopped. Sadly, no socialist revolutions, no victories on our end. Sadly, but some pink tide stuff in Latin America.
As always, next year.
Exactly right. And then finally, the most egregious of all the events that have happened so far is first of all, number one, the elections in Israel, or the illegal settler colonial occupation of Palestine, more accurately, which happened in July, basically, and it's a coalition of far right and even further right parties that basically came to power with what's his name, the ghoul Netanyahu leading the charge. So there's a likelihood that he's gonna get his third term, and
most likely
it's just more bullshit. Yeah, and they've done more again. They've bombed a bit more in what's it called in Gaza. They've killed a few more people, etc., etc. They've arrested more people.
With snipers. Yeah.
It was so funny to watch like Netanyahu talk to Jordan Peterson, and even Jordan Peterson's like trying to come up with like a pro-Israeli argument, and he's like, if somebody doesn't, which is funny coming. So he literally uses the argument about squatting, like why squatting should be good. This anti-communist guy, and he says, Israelis get to take this land because the Palestinians didn't do anything with it. Just like in the UK, you can take a house if nobody did anything with it for 15 years. Literally, what anti-private property argument that you're using now to like the spoil or whatever. But no, it was funny because he's using the stupid argument. But even that sort of argument is too much for Netanyahu, who's like, oh no, there was nobody here when we came here. No. What do you mean? Like, didn't take care of the house? There was absolutely nobody in this house. There was no house. There was no houses. This was just completely empty space. It's wild, like how like Netanyahu's like taken the settler colonial mindset to an even greater extreme, where he's just denying that he's even a settler in the first place. It's like he believes it's like it works like a video game. You just spawn in a motherfucker, and there's like nothing there before. Absolutely beautiful. But sorry, just
crazy.
That little interlude.
It's just like, just own it. Like this is one of the clearest examples of settler colonialism and of just absolute barbarism currently going on in the world. And the barest amount of research will reveal that to you. And if you're like pretending it didn't happen, I think that's a pretty damning admission that like what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, they've purged their own records, man. They don't. They know in his own heart, he fucking knows this. Yeah. He just knows that the PR of it won't play out well.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, have you noticed? On occasion, I retweet some anti-Zionist stuff or some pro-Palestine stuff, and then all my tweets get filled with these fucking Israeli troll farm people who are paid fucking God knows what, like 3 cents on the hour to fucking to live on Twitter, basically, to be terminally online, and just say racist shit. I'm like, is it really worth it when you have to do this, right? Okay, this is my point. Even the US doesn't stoop this low.
No.
And if there's one country I would expect to do this, it would be the US, right? it's
a multi-generational
major cringe.
project. It's a multi-generational project. And funny that you mentioned the US, because they at the end of the day, if they, God forbid, end up quote unquote winning, first, you do a fucked up thing. You take over. Then you slowly start purging your own records. You slowly start changing the main rhetoric. You wait for a century or two to pass. It becomes, the new rhetoric becomes absolute mainstream. And then eventually you start talking about, healing relationships or whatever with your past enemies. But using the U.S. as an example, there's like fucking 20 Native Americans left. So, you don't give a fuck. You give them, some places that you say, okay, you have your own legitimacy there. And fucking 5 square miles in the whole fucking country of 5 million square miles. And everybody in the world even applauds you for your great humanitarian effort. Everybody now believes in your rhetoric. You can sleep at night. Your future children, even your children, like, don't even remember what happened in the past. You can, after 250 years, start mentioning that, oh, maybe we did a bad thing, but now it's too late. We can't do anything about it. We're very sorry. And you're clean hands forever. And that is how you establish a nation state with full international, at least seen from the international perspective, legitimacy. And it's a case that has been done not only in the United States but in other places, and that's what they're following to an extent, at least now starting to follow. And depending on how radical the particular Israeli party is, and Netanyahu being one of the most right-wing motherfuckers ever, they, I guess, take it to an extra insane step of like not even waiting for at least 100 years before using this type of rhetoric, but starting immediately with this type of rhetoric of like, what are you talking about? No, I don't remember anybody being here, even though motherfucker served.
They started this rhetoric fucking 2 years after they started cleansing, man. They never cared. And that's the beauty of it, is that nobody buys it, all right? It's, of course, some fucking politicians will shake hands and whatnot, but the vast majority of people, and the perfect encapsulation of this was the World Cup. When any dude, fuck that reporter, by the way, but that reporter, he tried his darndest to get some fucking people to just chat, and every single one of them would basically shit on him. I loved it. Not one person didn't say something to the equivalent of like, free Palestine, or they realize he's Israeli and they're like, no, I'm out, fucking don't talk to me. It's a failing project. It'll crumble under the weight of its own sins and hypocrisy. But of course, it requires the active support of the international community. And by international community, I don't mean the fucking, like Western Europe, North America, South Korea, Japan, and Australia. I mean actual international community. And just like South Africa, the entire world will go from everybody recognizing them and doing business with them and supporting them to slowly but surely, diverting, and eventually there will need to come a point in which let's say the scale will tip, and the scale's tipped with the Angolan independence movement and the support of the Soviet Union and the Cuban forces, etc., etc. There was eventually a military solution to that issue. Who knows if Israel will be the same thing, but regardless, it is it's a coffin that is slowly being lowered, but what will eventually put it in the dirt and cover it up and be not forgotten for history, but basically damned for all of history, will come at a future point, inshallah. But yeah,
absolutely,
yes, exactly right. Yes, inshallah's in the chat, boys.
Daj Bože. Dacie Bog.
Exactly. And just shifting to disease, because we haven't had enough of that. Actually, no, speaking of, switching to another disease, we're going to speak about monkeypox, arguably a less severe case than Zionism.
Oh, my Lord.
I don't know if you need to bleep this one. No, that's probably fine. But anyways, back on track. The thing that I want to speak about is monkeypox, which for some reason was really blown out in the media, particularly Western media for some reason. It's a viral infection related to smallpox. I think there's 50 cases worldwide, 50,000, cases worldwide. So it's not the biggest deal on earth, but it is still a bad thing to have. But the people are like, oh yeah, COVID ends and now this other thing, and the government fucking reptilians want to control us and blah. It's like, no, it's not that. It's just monkeypox is also very bad for people who are immunocompromised, who are, for example, very old, or have recently been transplanted, or who have HIV or AIDS, etc., etc. So that's why it's a big deal. But otherwise, you're gonna be fine. So that's all I want to comment on. Shinzo Abe also fucking died. I forgot to mention.
But 3D
I made a very bad joke in the doc. Yeah, exactly.
Printed on.
By the way, okay, in Minecraft, some people could possibly do this to a certain leader of a certain imperial hegemon, but why one random guy who spent too much time online decided to make this fucking thing and actually carry out the assassination? But you're telling me you can't do that? I'm not even gonna finish the thought.
Right. Why are we not? Why is someone out there in a video game not just doing that worldwide? Or for example, with CEOs, why? I'm asking a question. I'm not saying anyone should do it, but why? Okay, next topic.
So that's that. You guys take it away from me.
That sentence would probably ruin my life at one point. But I was just asking a question.
We're just asking questions, guys. We're
Absolutely. Before you do, I heard this from my grandpa. It was very good. He was like, you know what the difference is between the Japanese and the Americans? When the Americans go nuts, they go shoot up kids in schools. When the Japanese go nuts, they go shoot their fucking president.
Accurate.
Priorities. When was the last? When was the last school shooting? When was the fucking last Walmart shooting? Like probably yesterday.
Well, returning to the U.S. briefly, if we're talking about U.S. presidents. The midterms were fairly recently, and it was expected that there would be a red wave, meaning the Republicans would kind of sweep the Democrats out of the House and the Senate. That didn't really pan out. Democrats kept their majority in the Senate, picking up one seat, and Republicans took the House by a narrow margin. So TLDR, nothing will change. I saw a tweet that summed up the U.S. electoral politics pretty well. It said, "So glad Trump lost because otherwise the war in Yemen would still be going, and the Iran deal would still be dead, and Roe v. Wade would have been repealed, and there'd still be immigrant kids in cages, and we'd probably be on the brink of World War III by now." So that, I think, pretty much sums it up. Like that stuff has all happened under Biden. And yes, Trump was terrible, but Biden is also terrible. And U.S. electoral politics is a dead end. It is a horse race. It is a spectacle, and you should not waste your time on it. Personally,
can I just complain for a second?
Please
if I do anything else on this podcast, as if I do anything else other than that. I remember I saw this when the midterm elections were coming up, and some tweet got very popular, and I was like, oh, every year it seems like American elections are like this. And it's a picture where it's like diarrhea every day, or everybody gets puppies, and it's supposed to be like the Democrats is everybody gets puppies, and diarrhea every day is the Republicans. I'm like, how fucking brain dead, how divorced from material reality do you have to be to make such a stupid fucking statement? And I give the guy a break because he's not American. He's probably not connected to what's going on in the US. He's probably never read. But in what universe do you think there's any sort of meaningful material difference between Democrats and Republicans, aside from the people like, oh, Democrats aren't anti-trans? No, Democrats are kind of less anti-trans than Republicans. Doesn't make them pro, for example. Same with or they're like this, they'll say the words, they're like, oh, trans rights, for example. They don't do that, but they'll say the words like, oh, for people of color, like all this shit, but there won't be any concrete follow-up. They'll never actually carry out anything, and that just goes to show, because for the past fucking 20 years nothing has improved in the US. Fuck. All right, I'm not.
No, that about sums it up. I mean, the frustration is very real, and I think a lot of Americans are finally starting to feel that frustration too. Like people, even some liberal friends of mine are like, man, why is Biden doing more oil drilling permits than Trump did? Why are there still these kids? Why are we paying for the wall between the U.S. and Mexico? What's going on? And we just got to keep poking.
Do you just slide over and I was like, hey, I have a little channel for you to check out. You just slide over your card, and it's just second thought, but you scribbled it with your left hand, so it's all like fucked up on like a card.
A shitty QR code, what else happened 2022? I mean, there was the Pelosi visit to Taiwan, which almost could have sparked World War III. A lot of people were watching that very, very closely. That flight. That was brash.
Honestly,
that was foolish.
In a weird like what's it called, macabre sense of humor, I guess you could say. It would have been really nice if they shot that plane down.
At least it would have been like an exciting end of the world.
Yeah, this is the thing. People say, it's the end of the world. Yeah. But no, 5 minutes before she landed, the official, like, what's it called, the State Department talking heads came out. I was like, oh no, she's doing nothing. She's not related to the American government. We're not doing anything that we approve of. This is a fucking like. So geez, I don't think. Yeah. So it would have been kind of neat just to see. So yeah, next year I intend to be bleeped twice as much. Okay, full radicalism hour. Punish Hakeem. Sorry, go on.
That's about it. I mean, I briefly mentioned in that tweet that I saw the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which is a big significant story. And I think there's debate on that topic, and I think one person summed it up pretty well. Someone said, related to the case, that young women today will come of age with fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers. Indeed, they said the court's opinion means that from the very moment of fertilization, a woman has no rights to speak of. A state can force her to bring a pregnancy to term, even at the steepest personal and familial costs. Like, yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. It's like there need to be exceptions for, regardless of what you think of abortion personally, there need to be at least exceptions for things like rape or incest, things like that, where it's punishing to the woman, both, you know, physically, mentally, and all. It's such a charged topic. But I think it was rightfully condemned by much of the international community that this was a step backwards in terms of rights for the average American, especially American women who over the last several years have had a lot of their rights rolled back. And that will, I think, continue with the more conservative direction both parties are trending.
Yeah. Absolutely. But because it happens in the United States, it is just a normal part of democracy. It's just a normal, it's okay for that type of idiotic voice to be heard and to be respected if enough people vote for it, or if enough people in legislature and in power stand behind that sort of ideological perspective. But if you were to have even half of that level of pulling back of rights anywhere else, the rhetoric would be quite different. Hell, countries have been attacked over less.
Far less, yeah.
For kind of...
I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, I was just going to say, if my memory serves me right, the vast majority of the American population, or a sizable majority at least, is against overturning Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
And is for universal health care.
Yep.
Guess what? Guess which one went through? And then you tell me if you live in a democratic system. But all right. Sorry,
absolutely. No. I just wanted to finish off, I guess, because I can see our list is over here, with a bit of media as a big film head. We had an incredible year when it comes to film and series. Everything Everywhere All at Once, arguably one of the best films I've ever watched. Triangle of Sadness, one of the best, very left-leaning films I watched. The last season of Peaky fucking Blinders, mate. It was absolutely fucking incredible. What a great anti-war message towards the end. It was very, very good. The Northman, if you want to watch a novel just in visual representation, not for everyone, but what a film. Severance, another very, I would argue, not even intended by the writer, but really comes across as anti-capitalist mode of, or definition of work type of show called Severance, and the incredibly disappointing made for children looking, I can't believe you spent $1 billion on this flop of the Rings of Power / Lord of the Rings 3-seasonal series. But all in all, when it comes to visual art, an incredible year. Arguably, JT, I'm not asking Hakim because he doesn't play them as much anymore, but also for video games, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had a lot of fucking bangers this year. Choosing a game of the year was very difficult to me. But just Elden Ring revolutionizing everything. With God of War, a lot of great multiplayer games, a lot of niche stuff that has come out and climbed the mountaintops. When it comes to, I guess, capitalism giving us ways to not think about the meaninglessness of our existence, it's at least giving us decent shit to watch and play, so we don't concentrate on it. So props where props are due. But even with these pieces of media that they're giving us to not concentrate on the meaninglessness of existence, they end up being very, very full with class conscious rhetoric and anti-capitalist rhetoric. So blah blah blah, selling us the rope, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I realized, I was thinking about it, that I only watched one movie that came out this year. I watched The Batman.
What?
And I enjoyed that pretty well. Yeah, and that was the only one. Yeah.
You watched only one? Okay, no judgment.
I mean, I watched a bunch of movies, but that's the only one that came out this year.
Yeah, I think I'm the same, actually, now that you mentioned. I think I've probably seen 1 or 2 movies that came out this year. I went to the cinema once this entire year.
I've seen 70. I've been to the cinema 45 sometimes. I save my cinema tickets to remember like all the movies that I've been to, and sometimes I like review them. I'm like secretly I want to be a movie review guy, not a communism review guy.
What's it called? Do you have a letterbox? I want to follow you.
No, I don't, but I might make one. Yeah.
Spam Nick, everybody listening, so that he makes one so that we can judge his taste.
Yes.
I'm teasing, but yeah, I would love to. It would be a great time for us three to just get together and do like some movie marathons.
That would be really cool.
Great time.
That would be really cool.
By the way, I want to reinforce my boomer, what's it called?
Street cred?
Credentials. Yeah, exactly. When it comes to video games, I haven't played much, but I'm looking forward to 3 video games. I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm looking forward to the Silent Hill 2 remake. And a new Amnesia games coming.
I knew. So, I thought all 3 are gonna be remakes. So I'm like,
so that's.
All right, well, all that out of the way, all our movies, all of our dead Europeans, all of our climate strife, all of our...
Hey, Asians died too, motherfucker.
There was an Asian that died as well. He was...
Gorbachev as well.
Homemade gat.
I mean, fair enough, yes. Homemade gat.
Anyway, everyone,
oh my God.
We hope you had
JT Chicago arc.
We need to rate the year.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Before,
yes.
I was gonna say I saw a picture. I saw a drawing of Santa Claus, and he's putting on a bulletproof vest, and he's like, "I have to fly over Chicago tonight." I don't know if that's racist or not. But I just
it was probably made by a conservative, but that's kind of slaps.
It's kind of funny.
That's like a commentary on America as a whole. Yes.
America, yes, society,
exactly,
guns,
right.
shooting people.
Anyways, the rating. I think thoroughly mid-year, it would have been a 4 out of 10 if it wasn't for Gorbachev's death. Because Gorbachev died, it's an immediate 9 out of 10 for me.
But that's internationally. But for you personally, how was it for you personally?
Oh, for me personally, alhamdulillah, like every year, like a 7 out of 10 probably. Alhamdulillah. I'm no complaints. But when it comes to Gorbachev's... Actually, no, for my personal life too, because Gorbachev died, it's a 9 out of 10. So there we go. Hakeem has spoken.
What am I going to give it here? This is a tough one, because it was big ups and downs this year. I think strictly because of how much fun I've had with the Deprogram with you boys. And so I don't get thrown out of the house. The birth of my beautiful baby
I was
girl.
like, oh my God, it's really
No, I will give the year an 8 out of 10, despite the hospital stays and stuff. I know.
Yeah.
Those must have been horrible, but you got a kid and you got a fucking dope ass podcast with 2 motherfuckers.
So you have 2 kids basically, is what we say.
Man, what kind of what was a 10 for you? Like, what kind of year did you do? Like heroin for 365
Not feeling like
days?
I'm about to die for weeks on end.
Okay,
but yeah, that is
true. True.
It was overall very, very good year. Blessed, #blessed beyond measure because of you boys.
No, Habibi, the 10 out of 10 will come when we visit you and both of us give you a sloppy little smooch.
I can't wait.
Look,
gonna teach
you'll
you
be
how
in the
to-
middle and both...
Gonna teach you how to use that gag reflex better.
Oh no! I'll tuck my thumbs.
Yeah, there you go. Good to know. How about you, Gopnik?
For me, it is a 20 out of 22. Very, very good year. It loses the 2 extra points it could have because I had to listen to these nuts all fucking year. So I deduct a whole 10% for that. But other than that, it was an incredible experience. Thank you to all our listeners, and thank you to the both of you. And thank you to all our beautiful family members or friends in real life that deal with our shit. Let's make 2023 even redder than this one.
Amen, brother.
Hold on, I had a question. There's a fast food place in the US. It's like a pale girl and she has red hair and they make burgers.
Wendy's? Yeah.
Wendy's.
Wendy's these nuts. Wendy's nuts in your mouth.
What?
All you had to say was
twice.
Wendy's nuts. You didn't need to say Wendy's.
I couldn't do it.
Wendy's these nuts. I thought you were going to fuck me when you fucked yourself. So.
I couldn't do it.
This has been the Deprogram. I'm JT.
I'm Hakeem.
I win. Less jokes on Hakeem.
Happy 2022.